Shape keys are a really powerful tool that should be part of every Blender user's workflow. With the shape keys, you can fix a lot of your problems in Blender. Shape keys can be used to set up different facial expressions for your character, fix the mesh that is being incorrectly deformed by the rig, or to just simply shape-shift your character or object. In this tutorial, I will show you how to use shape keys to set up facial expressions for your character and how to attach the driver to your shape keys. To show you how do the shape keys work, I will be using this character. If you have your own character that you want to add a shape keys to, you can use that character. But if you want to follow me along with the same character that I am using, you can download this character for free. Link is in the description. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. But just before we start, please leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me with the algorithm. Did you like and subscribe? Alright, let's go. Now, in order to give this character a facial expression with shape keys, this is what we need to do. Select your character and go to Object Data Properties, and here we have this shape keys area. Now, in order to add shape keys, press this plus button, and that is going to give us the basis. The basis basically serves as the default shape for your mesh without any shape keys active. After you have added this basis, press this plus button again, and here we have our first shape key. Now, let's rename this shape key. Let's double click it and let's call it smile point L, because we are going to use this shape key to cause the left side of this character's face to smile. Okay, so how are we going to set up this character to smile? Well, this is really easy. Simply increase this value of this smile shape key to 1 and then go into the edit mode. Now that we are in the edit mode, let's switch this to vertices and let's select these vertices here at the edge of this character's lip. Now let's enable proportional editing, so that way we can move multiple points at the same time. And let's also open this and make sure that connected only is enabled. Now press G. Let's scroll this mouse wheel up and down to control how much of this character's face we are going to move, and move this point up here till we get this nice half smile. Let's then press R to rotate this just slightly. And now if you want to add an additional detail, you can move this face a tiny bit into, you can move this point a tiny bit into your character's face to get a better shape for the smile. Okay, and now if we go into the object mode and if we change this value from 1 to 0, you can see how now we have this nice shape for the smile, and as we are changing this value, we are also changing the shape of the character's face. Okay, now this is great. But now we are only controlling one side of our character's face. How are we going to control the other side as well? Well, we are going to do this next. Let's make sure that this smile L has value set all the way to 1. Let's press this button next and select New Shape from Mix. and that is pretty much going to copy this shape key. Let's increase this new shape key all the way to 1, select the smile and decrease it to 0. We can rename this new shape key to smile point air. And now to cause this new shape key to change the right side of our character's face, simply press this button again and select mirror shape key topology. Okay, and now as you can see, now this shape key is changing the right side of our character's face. Now if we have both of these shape keys enabled, you can see that we have this really nice smile for our character. Now that we have given this character a nice smile, you may think that we can just move on to the next shape key. However, this shape key we just added has actually one small problem. Let's open this shader and let's open the X-ray mode. And now let's move this smile a tiny bit. As you can see, something odd is happening inside of our character's mouth. Now to show you what is happening, I'm actually going to go inside of our character. And now let's move this shape key. And as you can see, this mouth, they are not moving correctly. This area of the mouth that is inside of our character should be completely still while we are changing this value, but for some reason it is being altered. Now why is that? Well, sometimes when you are using mirror shape key, Blender can incorrectly determine how you want your new shape key to control the opposite side of your character's face. And if that happens, you have this weird area that are changing as you are moving the value of your shape key. Now, fixing this is actually really simple. To fix this problem, we are going to go into the edit mode. Let's switch this to faces. And now, simply what we need to do, select all the faces that are being moved incorrectly or that shouldn't move at all. Okay, like this. And you can also press VW to get this select circle. Okay, now we can just hold shift and just easily select all of these faces like this. Just go a little like this. Select all of these faces. We need to make sure all of these are going to be affected. Okay, and after you have selected all the faces that are moving even though they shouldn't, simply select vertex and select blend from shape. Okay, now here we have this option here, and to correctly set it up, make sure that this shape is set to basic, blend set up to 1, and this add value simply disable. And okay, as you can see, now we no longer have this odd deforming shape. And if we go into the object mode, and if we move this shape key, you can see that these mouths are no longer being deformed in this weird shape. Okay, this is great. And now that we have fixed this problem we had with this mouth, now we are ready to move on to the next shape key, and that is for the eyes. We are going to use shape keys to cause this character to blink. So to do that, press this plus button to add new shape key, Let's rename this to blink point top point L. Oops. Blink point top point L. Okay. And now simply go into the edit mode. Let's W to get this select box back. And okay, enable proportional editing. Switch this to vertex. And now simply select this point here for the eyelid. Let's select G, move it down a tiny bit. Okay, like this. Go to the side, move it forward, like this. Okay, maybe move this point here a tiny bit up. Okay, select this point here. Okay, move it out like this. Move this point down tiny bit. And this one a little forward. And okay. Oh, I forgot to increase this value to 1, so let's do that now. And okay guys, now we have this blinking position. And if we go into the object mode, and if we flip-flop this, you can see that our character is now doing this nice half blink. Okay guys, now one more thing. Up until this point, we have used the edit mode to control the shape of the shape keys. However, we can also do this in the sculpt mode. Now, if you want to, you can set up the main position in the sculpt mode. I personally like to set up the main position in the edit mode, and then I just like to use sculpt mode to get some final details nicely tweaked. But you can use sculpt mode for everything actually. It doesn't really matter whether or not you use sculpt mode or the edit mode. Use whatever you are more comfortable with. Okay, now that we are in the sculpt mode, I'm going to select this smooth tool to smooth out these areas on the top eyelid. Now, this lower eyelid shouldn't actually stick up so much, so let's smooth out these areas like this. Okay. Okay, we have now a better position. Alright. Now let's select this elastic deform. Pull this area of the eyelid down a tiny bit, and also let's pull it out. Okay, maybe a little up. And okay, now we have this nice straight line for the upper eyelid. And okay, now as you can see, now this eyelid is nicely going up and down. Okay, now let's immediately take care of the other eyelid as well. Let's add shape from the mix, increase it to 1, decrease this one to 0, and now let's use mirror shape keys. Okay, we have this area here, but I think that once again, yeah, I will once again need to fix this mouth. And I believe I will need to do that whenever I use mirror shape for the shape key. Okay. Now I will take care of that later, but for now let's just see how do these eyes look when both of them are half closed. Okay, this looks good, but this area between the eyes could be a tiny bit smoother. Now, to fix this problem, let's go into the sculpt mode and let's select the smooth tool and use it to smooth out this area between the eyes. Just make sure that as you are using this smooth tool, that you are flip-flopping between these two shape keys that are active so that the changes we are making in the sculpt mode are being applied on both of them. Because remember guys, in the sculpt mode we can see the effect of multiple shape keys at the same time, but we can only make changes on one shape key, and that is the one that we have selected. So that is why when you want to apply the change to a multiple shape keys at the same time, you need to flip-flop between the shape keys you want to apply the change to in order for it to be applied on both of the shape keys. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, we can move on. Okay, these eyes now look good. Let's go into the object mode. Let's see how do these eyes now look individually. Okay, good. Okay, good. Now, the top blinking is finished. Now it's time, guys, that we take care of the bottom blinking. Now, for that, let's increase this upper blink to 1. And now, let's press this plus button to add a new shape key. And let's rename it to blink point bottom point L. Okay, now increase it to 1, and now let's go into the edit mode. Okay guys, now as you can see, in the object mode we have left this top blink set to 1, but we can't actually see its effect on this character now. Now, whenever you are playing with the shape keys in the edit mode you will only be able to see the shape key that you have selected, even if more of them are active. For example, if I select this shape key, I can see the effect of this one. If I select this one, I can see the effect of this one, and so on. Now this is really useful for us because now we can easily affect this last shape key without messing up any of the shape keys we have done previously. And now for the bottom eyelid, we are going to do the same thing we did for the upper. Select this shape key, this point, pull it up. Select this point here. Pull it up like this and pull it a tiny bit out, and let's also pull these points tiny bit out as well. Okay, this is a tiny bit too high in my opinion, so let's move this slightly down. Okay, like this. And okay guys, now let's go into the object mode. Okay, and this is how our closed eye so far looks. And as you can see, it looks really bad. Our eye isn't even completely closed. Now, in order to effectively close this eye, we actually need to see both of these top and bottom shape keys active at the same time. Now, in the edit mode, that isn't going to happen, but if we open the sculpt mode, now as you can see, now we can see the effect of all the shape keys that are active. Since the top blink is active, we can see its effect. And now that we can see both of these shape keys active, we can accurately give this eye a blinking position. Now first, let's select this elastic deform tool and move this up a tiny bit. Okay, like this. Okay, and now to make sure this eye is closed, let's select this inflate tool. Let's inflate this eye. Okay, inflate it like this. Okay, like this, and a little more here. And now for the end, let's select smooth tool. Let's smooth this eye. I think we will need to make this eye a tiny bit higher in the edit mode. So let's select this point, move it a tiny bit up. And okay, now this looks good. Now we have this closed eye. Okay, let's very slightly smooth this a little. Only a little so that these eyelids don't separate. And okay, go into the object mode. And okay, we have this nicely closed eye. Let's see how does this eye looks alone. We can improve this a little. Let's inflate this eye just a tiny bit here. Okay, and let's smooth it out a little. Okay, let's see how does this eye looks closed now. It looks good. We will only need to smooth this shape a little here. Let's smooth this out a tiny bit. And okay, now this looks good. And now for the end, we only need to get the other shape key for the other eyelid. So shape remix, increase it to 1, decrease this one to 0. Mirror shape key. And okay, let's see how do these eyes look when both of them are active. They look good, but we can still improve this a little. Let's select the Sculp Mode. Let's smooth this area between the eyes a little and make sure to flip-flop between these two shape keys so that these changes we are adding to them are being applied to both of these shape keys. Okay, now let's rename this to blink point bottom point air. And okay, we have this eye taken care of. And okay, with this we have finished all of these eyes, all of these shape keys. The last thing we need to do is we actually need to improve the shape of this. We need to fix this mouth area here. So just like we did it before, go into the edit mode, select all the points, all the faces that are being moved incorrectly. Okay, and now just like before, vertex, blend from shape. Okay, basic, disable add, and okay, this looks good. Now let's repeat this process with all the shape keys that are being moved incorrectly, and okay, that is it. And okay guys, we have set up these basic shape keys for the facial expressions of this character. Now guys, just before we continue this lesson, I have a quick message. If you guys are interested in one-on-one online lessons about Blender, I highly recommend you to check out my gig on Fiverr, where I offer just that. If you need help with sculpting, modeling, texturing, or with some other feature of the Blender, send me a message and I will gladly help you to gain new skills in Blender and to help you improve the skills you already have. Also, if you are interested in learning more about the Blender, I recommend you to check out my classes on Skillshare, where I talk about some features of the Blender that I haven't mentioned on YouTube. Link for both the Fiverr and the Skillshare will be in a description. And okay, with that shameless self-promotion out of the way, we can continue with this lesson. Now guys, that we have set up these shape keys, the last thing you need to know is how to animate with them. Now here we have two options. Let's demonstrate the first one. To animate with the shape keys, first we need to pick some random frame in this animation. This one will do. Then press this dot that is next to the value of this shape key, and that is going to add a keyframe to it. Then let's pick a frame that comes after the frame on which we have added this keyframe. This one will do. Then increase this value from 0 to 1, and then press this dot again to add a new keyframe. And now if we play this animation from the start, you can see that this character is slowly making a smile on his face as the value of this shape key is slowly increasing. Now this is one way you can animate with shape keys, but there is also one more way to animate with them. You can animate the shape keys by attaching them to the rig. Now I have already given this character a rig, and I'm not going to show you how to rig your character, since that is a topic for a different tutorial. But after you have rigged your character, what you need to do in order to control your shape keys with the rig is the following. Select your rig and go into the edit mode. Then you need to add one extra bone for your rig and place it somewhere around the character's head. I also recommend you to position your bone straight up like this, since that way it will be easier to control the shape key. After you have added this bone, we need to restrict its movement. To do that, go into the pose mode, select this bone and go to bone constraints and add limit rotation constraint. What this constraint will do is it will cause this bone to only be able to rotate in a specific direction, which we will set up. Now, to correctly set this up, let's switch this setting from world space to local space. And let's also switch this setting from global to local. Now that we have set this up, it is time we start restricting some rotation. First, we only want this bone to be able to rotate on the Z-axis. So to do that, press the N and go to Item. First, we need to get this bone in the right position. So to do that, let's set all the rotation values to 0, except the W value, which we are going to set to 1. And then press this lock icon that is next to the X and Y rotation values. And now that we have locked these X and Y values, we can only rotate this bone on the Z axis, which is exactly what we want. Next, we only want this bone to be able to rotate from this straight up position to the straight down position. To achieve that, let's set this maximum Z value at the limit rotation to 180. And now we can enable this Z value on this constraint. Now, as you can see, we can only rotate this bone on the Z value, and we can only rotate it 180 degrees, which is exactly what we were trying to achieve. Now that this bone has limited rotation, it is time we attach these shape keys to this bone. First, let's rotate this bone to a straight up position like this. Next, return to the object mode and select this character. Select the first shape key you have and press right click over its value. And after that, simply select Add Driver. Leave these settings the way they are and then close the driver. After that, open this animation window here. And after you do that, select this icon and switch it to a driver. Now, to attach a shape key to a rig, this is what you need to do. You have this key icon here. Open it and you will see all the shape keys that you gave driver to. Select the shape key that you want to attach to a rig and open the driver setting. Here at the object, select your character's rig, and at the bone, select this bone to which we added limit rotation. Now, I actually don't know to which bone I added limit rotation, since I forgot to name it. So I am just going to quickly select this rig, go into the edit mode, and I am going to rename this bone to smile point L. Now let's return to the animation, and here under the bone, select bone called smile point L. Next, under the type, switch this from X location to Z rotation and switch this space to local. And now, by doing this, we have attached this shape key to this rig. And if I select this bone and rotate it, you will see that the value of this shape key is increasing from 0 to 1 as this bone is rotating. Now, in case your shape key is not changing as you are rotating this bone, or if it's not changing correctly, don't panic. To fix that, you only need to nicely set up your shape key so that it is in sync with your rig. And now I will show you how to do just that. Now, listen to me carefully. This part can be a little confusing, but once you figure out how setting up shape keys work, this will be a child's play. Now, first, we need to tell Blender when do we want this shape key to have a value of 0. To do that, let's position this bone in a straight up position. When this bone is positioned like this, we want this shape key to have the value of 0. Now, in my case, this shape key already has its value set to 0 when this bone is positioned straight up like this, so I don't actually need to change anything. But in case your shape key doesn't have the value of 0 when it is supposed to, this is what you need to do to fix it. Go to animation window and select the shape key that you need to fix. Now, let's look at this line that is in this driver window. As you can see, this line has a few dots on it. Now, in order to get this shape key to change its value as the bone is being rotated, we need to set this line at the right angle. Now, first we need to set up when will this shape key need to have a value of 0. To set that up, select this first dot that is on this line you can imagine that this dot represents when does this shape key needs to have the value of 0. After you have selected this dot, open the F-curve, properties here. Now, do you see this value setting here? This setting controls the value of our shape key. To set this shape key to have the value of 0, simply change this setting until your shape key gets the value of 0. Now I actually don't need to change this setting because my shape key already has the value of 0, but if that is not the case with you, well, now you know what you need to do to fix that. Alright, we are halfway done. Now we need to tell the Blender when do we want this shape key to have the value of 1. Select your rig and go into the pose mode. Now select this bone and rotate it so that it is positioned straight down. When this bone is this position, we want this shape key to have the value of 1. Setting that up is really simple. Return to the animation window, select the shape key that you want to fix. Now, when we wanted to set up the value of 0, we needed to select the first dot on this line. Now we need to select the last dot on this line. You can think of this last dot as the maximum value for our shape key. And now simply play with this value setting here under the F curve until your shape key gains the value of 1. And with this, you have set up your rig to nicely control this shape key. And with this, guys, we have reached the end of this tutorial. Congratulations, guys, you have mastered the shape keys. I hope you are going to put the knowledge I gave you to good use, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. See ya, guys, in the next video. Bye!